Assalamu alaikum students, I'm your science teacher. Let's start a game where I suggest you a simple word like cat. And next is your turn. You have to say a word which starts on the last letter. Like I'm giving you a word that is cat, and cat has T as a last letter. Now tell me what starts from the T. Yes, T for table. So our next word is table. And who is going to give a new word that starts from the E letter? Yes, E for elephant. Oh, again we have T. So T for trunk. Yes. Okay. I hope you enjoy this game. Thank you. When you are hungry, do you feel weak and tired? Why do you get hungry? Like all living things, we need energy to carry out the life processes. We get our energy from the food we eat. The food we eat can come from the plants or the animals. Today, in this module, we are going to discuss about the food chain. We are going to discuss about the chapter that name is food chain. Animals get the energy they need from eating plants or other animals. Plants are the living things. They also need energy. Where do you think the plant that the rabbits eat get their energy from? Plants can make their own food because they contain a green pigment which is known as a chlorophyll, and it is mostly found in their leaves. Chlorophyll helps plants to trap the light energy from the sun. With this light energy, plants are able to make the food through the process which is known as a photosynthesis. Here is a picture of a photosynthesis. In this process, water and the carbon dioxide are combined to produce oxygen and the sugar. Plant will use this sugar they produce to carry out the life process. Not all the sugars made by the plant is used. Excess sugar is converted into the starch and stored in the different parts of the plants. Starch is stored in a seed. Starch is also found in the fruits such as bananas. Starch is also found in the cabbage leaf, in the potatoes, in the carrots, in the ginger. These all have a starch inside it. Next, we are going to discuss about the producers. Since plants are able to make their own food, we call them as a food producer. They depend directly on the sun for the energy. The producers are the starting point of feeding relationship in any habitat. Here we are going to discuss about the food chains. So every food chain starts from a producer, that is a plant. When animals eat these plant parts, they get the energy they need. Unlike plants and animals can't make their own food. They depend on other living things for the food. So, animals that depends on other living thing for the food, they are known as a consumer. When animals eat these plant parts, they get the energy they need. Here are the producer and the consumer. Producer are the plants that start the food chain, and the consumer are the one that eats other living organism to have the energy. Then food consumers are divided into three categories. One is carnivore, second is herbivore, and the last one is omnivore. Carnivores are the organisms in which an organism that only eats animals, for example meat, and herbivores are the one in which an organism that only eats plants, And the last one is omnivores, an organism that eats plants and animals. So basically, carnivores are the one that eats animal only, flesh, meat, for example, tiger, snake, lions. These all are the carnivores animals. And herbivores means an organism only eats plants. Herb. You can get it from the herb. Herbivore mean they eat only plants. And the last one is omnivores. Omnivores, we are the omnivores, yani we are the humans that eat both plants and animals. Next is we are going to discuss about the food chains. How is energy transferred between organisms? In a habitat, energy is transferred from one organism to another through feeding. A food chain is a path by which energy passes from one living organism thing to the another one. Like in this picture, this is a food chain in which gazelle will eat bush and cheetah will eat gazelle. So the bush is a producer and the gazelle and the cheetah are the one consumers. Food chains can sometimes be made up of more than two food consumers. The first consumer is called as a primary consumer, second one is known as a secondary consumer, and the third consumer are known as a tertiary consumer. Here are the examples that shows primary consumer, secondary consumer, and the tertiary consumer. First is the producer. I mentioned that the food chain is always start from the producer, that is the plant, and arrow shows the transfer of energy from one organism to the next one. So in this food chain we have a producer, which is grass. Second is a primary consumer, grasshopper. Third one is a secondary consumer, that is pine fletcher, and the tertiary consumer, skunk. So grasshopper eat grass, pine fletcher eats grasshopper, and the skunk will eat pine fletcher. This is your homework. You have to do these questions in your copies, and I hope you get all the point of this today lecture. Please do these questions in your copies and submit it on Wednesday. Thank you.